Hello everyone, I'm back. Okay, tonight we're going to do some glass etching as promised. Let me turn off this dishwasher so you guys can hear me. I'm just getting squared away and letting everybody know that I'm on. I've gotten a lot of questions about glass etching. So hopefully after tonight's lesson, you guys will be pretty clear about what you need to know about glass etching. Good evening, good evening. Okay, I'm just going on my Facebook. I hope that this tutorial is going to give you guys some good insight on this glass etching. In the meantime, the etching that I'm going to use is the Armor Etch right here. I believe I got this one from Hobby Lobby. You see it was $10.99 for this small little bit. Hi, Miss Kim. It was $10.99 at Hobby Lobby. When it comes to that, you really want to try to shop around for prices because that Armor Etch can get really, really pricey. Hey, Ty. Okay, so I'm just waiting on everybody to come in. I hope everyone is having a great weekend. Okay, let's see. Okay, you guys hang tight, giving everybody an opportunity to get in. Okay. Thus far, as we're waiting for everyone to get in, do you guys have any questions about our etching? So that way I can give you guys time to ask your questions and I can get back to the screen and answer them. Okay. So I got everybody invited. Hello, hello everyone. Hello you guys. Let me see. Can you use a coupon on it? Heck yeah, Tanya. You can use a coupon. Yes, you can. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so like I said, the tools that I have, we're going to do a quick orientation as far as what tools I have. I was trying to get the computer set up. Okay, so just like we prepped our surfaces last night for our chalk paint session, you want to prepare all of your surfaces, especially when you're using paint and vinyl. So I'm actually using some leftover 631 for my etching. When you do your etching and you're using vinyl, you want to try to either use a color that you probably won't be using, or if you got some scrap vinyl that you want to use, this is a piece of scrap. A piece of scrap vinyl that you want to use, then that's fine. Okay, so the surfaces is with glass etching, of course. That's the Armor Etch that I got from Hobby Lobby. And glass surfaces. This is a canister from the Dollar Tree. We probably won't be etching on this tonight though, but I just want to show you guys the different types of glass that you can do. You can actually glass etch. This is a nice flat surface. When you're glass etching, you want to try to find the flattest surface that you can find. So this is a nice flat surface. This is a little curved, but for the most part, it's flat. And here's going to be to hold my cup, literally. So I'm going to try to actually glass etch on this champagne glass. Okay? And then I also have a vase that I use for my flower arrangements. So I'm going to actually do the class on this vase. I really want to put something on it. So got that. Now this right here is my etching that I did in our March 2nd class this year. We actually had a hands-on class. So I hope that you guys can see that for the most part, how that looks. I put something dark on the inside so you guys can see it. Okay, so first step to glass etching is cleaning your surface. It's so important. You want to remove the dust, any kind of particles or fingerprints from it, because you want your vinyl to adhere to it as best as possible. You can use the rubbing alcohol to clean your surface. Just spritz it a little bit and wipe it off with a paper towel, being careful not to leave any fuzz behind as well. Or you can actually use Clorox. So I actually washed my glasses with Dawn. The blue Dawn is really good for getting glass clean. Or you can actually put your glassware in the dishwasher. That's why I had a dishwasher running. But you can put your glass in the dishwasher and it'll give it that heat and it'll give it a good clean. So let's begin. Okay, so I already cleaned my surfaces, so you guys wouldn't have to go through that. Go through supplies. I have my etching cream. I have my sponges, which you can get from Dollar Tree, Walmart, or any craft store. No specific type of sponge, but sponge like this. And I have my tape measure. So for newbies that are just getting started and they have trouble figuring out what size that they have to use for their etching, a tape measure is a handy tool until you learn what your sizes are for your different mediums. And I have some transfer paper. Got this transfer roll from Dollar Tree. They usually have a lot of it. Whenever I see them have a lot on the shelves, I pick it up because it's only $1 and it's just enough stick for me to do the job. So those are materials that I have. I actually am going to do a hands-on, not a hands-on, but a tutorial on how I created my stencil after this live. But my stencil is just one big word. It's love with some hearts around it. Now I want to show you this. One thing about glass etching, see, I did two different sizes. I did this size and this size. And you see, the smaller your stencil, sometimes the harder it is to cut. That's why that looks a hot mess. So I'm going to cut that off. And I'm hoping that our bigger stencil is going to do the job with this glass. So the next thing is that with your weeding, you want to do something called reverse weeding. And what reverse weeding is that normally when you weed, you're going to take out everything that you don't need. So in this instance, we're not taking everything out we don't need. We're actually taking out the stuff that we want to show up on the glass. So like, for example, this heart. Let's see. I usually have a glove on when I'm weeding so I could put the weed on the back of my glove. But, so this is what you want to weed out. The stuff that you want to show on your glass is what you want to weed. And sometimes if it doesn't cut like I want, I actually have an Exacto knife that I use because it didn't cut the heart out all the way. So I just use my Exacto knife and kind of cut it so that I can weed it. This can get very tedious. Make sure you put that top back on or somebody will be making a trip to the hospital. Okay? So I use my Exacto knife to get that out. I'm going to weed this hard. Get that little piece of weed there. Okay? Weed my other heart. And this is reverse weeding. Okay, and now I'm going to remove my L. This is the word love, by the way. Remove my L. And these little pieces, you want to save the inside of your lettering. With this O, is 2 pieces of this O. The font that I'm actually using is Michael by Ari. Ari is one of the fellas that I actually affiliate for. He's an awesome guy, very talented. So I'm actually using one of his fonts for this tutorial. So I'm going to leave the inside of the O because that's what I actually want in my design. And I actually lost the inside of my V. Like I said, this can be kind of tricky. So I didn't lose it, but it's stuck on the transfer. So I'm just going to slide it like that. And this is just with 631. With 631, it's not really a really good cut. I like to deal with 651 Oracal. I just had some 631 left. There we go. Good. I'm glad I didn't get lost. Okay. So I just used my 631, but the best vinyl to use for your etching is 651. Do not use this what is it? 631 like I'm using. Okay, so now I have this weed. So this is a reverse weed. And like I said, I'm going to do a tutorial because you actually, whatever your design is, you want to put a box around it and give yourself enough edge so that the etching cream doesn't go over your edges. So we're good over here. Be careful at the top. We're good at the bottom. And we're good on the side. So that's that. So what I'm going to do, you see how tedious that was actually weeding the smaller one. Now the bigger one, that's going to be a whole lot more easier. So the more detail that you have in your glass etch, the tougher the weed and the more challenging it is. So it's something that you actually got to practice with. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. It's really not that bad. This is actually the worst part of glass etching, actually getting your weeding. Out of all of the methods of actually creating, weeding is my least favorite to do. I absolutely hate weeding. If I can avoid a tough weed, I will. So I'm just weeding this. This is going to be for my vase. So I have a vase and a glass to match. Remember, with your reverse weeding, you're leaving the insides of your letters. You see how much easier this was to weed? The bigger, the better. A lot of people like to accept the challenge. See that? A lot of people like to accept the challenge of difficult weeds. Me, I run from them. So now, next step is I'm going to cut my transfer tape or transfer paper. Okay, that's that piece there. And sometimes if I have somewhere to put it, I'll save my transfer tape. Let's see if I cut this big enough. Okay, good. So I got my transfer tape. And if I have scrap pieces that I cut, sometimes I just throw it in the same container as my scrap piece of vinyl. So I'll have it already cut. Okay. I don't think I'm going to worry about cutting that too much. Okay, so I have my transfer vinyl. Now it's time to lay. Hello everyone coming in. The toughest part about laying is making sure if you actually get this transfer on your transfer tape flat, that's going to be the best thing for your creation. So how did I decide that this size was big enough? I measure from the furthest corner of the design to the other corner. And it's a little under 3 inches. So if I measure my glass with my measuring tape, you see, that's going to give me an idea of how big to make my stencil. You see, 3 inches is a pretty good size. So don't measure the square. The square is just a little base to help you not get etching cream on your surface. Okay, so now I'm just getting my transfer tape off the back end with no fingernails, of course. Okay, so I've had my Cricut for a while, so I don't have my scraper anymore. So what I do is I make sure that the transfer tape is on really good and flat, and I take the back of my scissors. Anything flat will do. I've had my Cricut for quite a few years, and I actually got a big scraper, but I put that up somewhere. You can use an old credit card, anything flat. So now I have my design, and I just walk it off like that. Okay, So now my surface is already clean. It's cleaned. Like I said, you can clean it with alcohol or Clorox Wipe, or what I did was I can either throw it in the dishwasher to get it sparkly clean or use blue Dawn soap. So now I'm just going to lay like this and make sure I put my design on how I want it. I want the heart almost to the top. Now, here's the trick to laying. You want to lay it like this. You see how it's kind of floating? Move your hand down the middle and be careful and work your way around, because if you have any buckles, that etching cream is going to go right up under your vinyl. So take your time and press to make sure that you don't have any buckles. If you have any buckles in your square, that's fine. Your square or rectangle, that's perfectly fine. But you do not want any buckles where your lettering is. So probably the toughest part of this will probably be the L. So make sure that all of that is laid. So that heart is laid, this L. See, you might see like it's a little buckle right there where that L is. That is what you don't want, because that etching cream will go right up under it. You see how I pressed it out? So I'm looking at all of my lettering to make sure all of my lettering's pressed. Get around that heart. And then you'll have some buckles towards the end of the square, which is fine because this is a curved surface. Oh, you see that buckle there? That's why I said the L was probably going to be the most difficult, especially because this glass is curved. So I'm going to try my best. Go ahead and lay this over here on the side. Curved surfaces are the toughest to work with. That's why I said I prefer flat surfaces. But I want to show you guys this so that you know what you're getting yourself into when you start etching. Okay, so I got this laid down. Going to pull my transfer tape up. Make sure this L. And you also use your scraper to actually scrape this on, but I say I like working with my fingers a lot better because it gives me the opportunity to kind of maneuver. So this is a bad spot, and this L right here is bad. So I'm just going to pull this up and kind of press it down and flatten it out. Glass etching is very, very tedious business. So also, this is where my Exacto knife comes in too. So what I do is I'll just cut a little bit. Where it's buckling. And this is just a technique that I've used that was helpful to me. This Exacto knife comes in handy. You see how that worked out? Okay. So I gave it a double look to make sure that I didn't have any buckling in my design. And use my Exacto knife to cut and trim. So that is how I laid on this. So next I'm going to lay, make sure that's right. Next I'm going to lay my big design. You guys have any questions thus far? Okay, remove that. Clean as we go, clean as we go. Flatten this out. Place my transfer tape flat. So also, just to give you guys a visual, from the corner of the design all the way to the furthest, which is about 6 inches. So this design is about 6 inches wide. And with my base right here, if I put my tape on, then it's going to give me an idea about how wide this design is going to be. You see, like so. So it's going to be pretty big. Okay. Just try to put something on it to keep it from rolling out the way. There we go. Okay, so I have my design here. Just going to take something flat, your scraper, old credit card, the back handles of the scissors. Now the most important thing is making sure that the middle parts of your lettering, like the middle parts of the O, B, and the E, sticks to the transfer, because that's so important with glass etching. Okay, so now I have my design on my transfer. And it's the same technique with this. You want to lay down the middle first. And you guys going to see how much easier it is to lay, because it's a bigger surface. There's an air bubble there in the transfer. This is a bigger surface, so it's going to be much easier to lay. Even though it's curved. We may or may not have to do the Exacto knife with this. It might be easier if I stand it up. Okay, so I'm just going to push in this corner over here, because I want to start taking off this transfer tape, so I can start working my finger around it. Okay. This is the part that's like, because once you get your stencil laid on your surface, then that's where the fun starts. There we go. This is the tedious part. Imagine having 15 of these to do. That's why I say, if you got freedom of design, honey, try to make it as easy for yourself as possible. Hello, Lucy. And just kind of walk it off like that. Making sure that the insides of the letters stay intact. It's a little technique to it, but it can be done, you guys. Okay. Now I want to try to walk this off without stretching the vinyl, because if you stretch it, you're going to make a bigger problem for yourself. Okay. Okay. So now that I have that, I'm going to actually work on this side, like so. There we go. And then since I'm on the edge, I can just kind of take my scissors and cut and give it some leeway. Using my Exacto knife and cutting this vinyl has really been one of the things that's really helpful for my technique. And it doesn't help that sometimes I'm a perfectionist, because I want to make sure that it's laid right. If you mess up a glass etching, honey, you just got to mess up glass. All you have is a lesson. Say, oh, I have a lesson of what not to do the next time. And I've had an opportunity to play around with this etching for a while now. So I developed my own technique. Okay, so now to give you guys a visual, you see it's a buckling here. That is what I don't want, because that glass etching can go in that buckling right there, and that will be very, very, very bad. So what I'm going to do is like I did with my smaller stencil. And I think I'm going to cut it. And be careful not to scratch your surface. There we go. See? Easy fix, easy fix. Okay. Then I want to give over here some slack, so I'm just going to do a slight cut It gave me a little slack. I may have to do one up here too. And see right here, I make sure this is flat. No matter what happens to my stencil, the box, the square, I want to make sure that's flat. And get that as flat as I can. Like that. And then I can actually do a slit here. I can actually cut it off, to tell you the truth. So I'm going to cut that off. There we go. Okay. Make sure I don't have any air bubbles around my stencil. Around the lettering anyway. Okay, you guys. So that is not a perfect, but a great lay. This right here is bothering me though, but I think we're okay. Okay. So this is a great lay right here. You can look around the lettering. You don't see any air pockets or anything. Just take your finger and make sure, like it's one right here that I missed. There we go. Just take your finger and make sure that your stencil is laid flat. Because any little pocket that etching will get up under it and it will ruin the whole effort. Okay, so now I have my stencils laid. It's time to go to work. So if you're messy, you might want to wear gloves, but I've been working on this for so long, I really prefer not to wear gloves. But safety first. Put my top back on my Exacto knife, because I'm forever trying to poke myself and hurt myself. Okay, so I got my top off my Glass Etch. Sometimes what I do is I get a little on my brush, like that, and I either dip it in the top so I can go back and forth from the top instead of keep dipping in the container. Well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and apply. Be mindful of your slits. And you want to just apply on design. You see the border of the stencil serves as a protection on the rest of the glass. You only want this etch on your design. You don't want it anywhere else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with left to right strokes. And just give it a thin coat starting out. You want your coats to be even. So we're doing it left to right first. Any crystals that you may have, you want to pick them up and put them on a paper towel. So we're just going to do a thin layer first. Whatever crystals we have, just take it and dip it onto a paper towel. My glass is trying to run away from me. So I got my paper towel. I'm wiping my crystals off. And I'm just putting a thin layer. Now, the instructions say, I'm reading the instructions. Shucks, I think it says it on the box. But I think that the instructions say to leave it on for 10 minutes. Sometimes I leave my etching on for 15 to 20. Just to make sure I get the best effect for it. So now that I have a thin layer going across, what I want to do is do another layer up and down. Oh yeah, Miss Millie. I've been doing it for a while now. So it's one of those things that the more you do it, the more techniques you learn. I just wanted to share my technique with you guys and hope that you won't be intimidated by trying it. Okay, so you see after I did the second coat how much thicker it is. So now I have enough glass etching. What some people do too is they pile it on, but see, the more you put on, the more you have to scrape off. So you want to make sure that you don't have any clear spots in your etching, or you don't have any crystals on your etching, because the crystals can actually mess up your etching as well. You guys are like, Pataya, but what is the crystals? Yeah, that was a big crystal just now. I don't know if you guys saw that. But this right here that's on the tip of my brush, that's a crystal. You want to wipe that off on a napkin. And you can actually see them on the brush. Those are crystals. Uh-oh, those are crystals right there on the brush. So when I say crystals, that's what I'm talking about. You want to wipe that stuff off. And don't leave that on your etching because it can mess it up. So make sure your etching is free of crystals. You get crystals, wipe it off. And crystals probably won't be in a brand new bottle, but crystallization happens after you open the bottle and use it. So keep that in mind. So I just do left and right, side to side, left and right, side to side, making sure that is there an even amount of etching all the way around. It's not just one part that has a thick layer of etching, because the thicker the etching on it, the thicker the etch will be when you're finished. So you don't want one part of it to be thicker than the other. So make sure you spread it evenly, up and down, left and right, removing your crystals that you may have. I'm going to sit it up so you guys can see. I have a little crystal in the bottom part of that O. I'm wiping off my brush now to make sure my brush is free of crystals. Okay? So no crystals there, no crystals there. And just kind of going up and down. And I move the etching around a lot because I want to make sure that I get an even layer of etch. Okay? So after I do that, I'm going to put it to the side and let the etch do its work. But I also, too, what's a good thing is to make sure that all of your etching is going in the same direction when you do your last walkthrough, your last brush through. Make sure all of your etching is going in the same direction. Okay, so all of my etching is going in the same direction. You see that it's already sticking, which is good. I'm going to put that to the side. No, I didn't get it from Lowe's, Angela. Angela, they didn't have it. They didn't even know what I was talking about. I might have to go to Home Depot, and our closest Home Depot is like 55 miles away, or I may end up ordering it online. But when I do get a hold to it, I actually will show you guys a comparison side by side to see which one looks better. Because me and my daughter actually went today. We went to Lowe's and to Walmart to find the other one. Okay, so now here is the one that I'm kind of scared of because it's smaller. It's on a curved surface. You guys, this is like one of the toughest etchings to do. But we're going to go ahead and go through it together. Okay, so the trick is to watch out for the buckling. So now I'm just going over it one more last time to make sure that everything is laid down like I want to lay down. And we're going to go with it. Yeah, I got a little crystal there. So this one, you got to do smaller strokes, of course, because it's smaller. You don't want to go over your stencil. Get rid of any crystals you may have if you're using an old bottle. And it gets fun the more that you do it. I really love glass etching because it's a simple way. You know, if you don't have any vinyl and you run out of vinyl or you don't feel like really playing around with it, glass etching is a simple and elegant way to create. So I got all of my etching on all of my stencil. So now I'm just going to do my up and down, being careful not to go over the spaces that I actually cut, because that would defeat the whole purpose. Removing any crystals. You see, when you're dealing with a small surface, it's a little bit easier. That's a big vase. Okay. Now, when you do this etching, honestly, I don't know if this makes a huge... Uh-oh, I got a buckle down there. Ooh, that's going to go under there. Crap. Yep, that's going to go under there. Okay, when I do my etching, I love the Blue Dawn. So what I do is I scrape the excess etching off, if I have any excess etching, and put it back in the bottle for reuse. And I actually washed the glass with the Blue Dawn, and it gets rid of the excess. Okay, so that actually took to the glass a whole lot quicker. When your glass is clean with any kind of cleaning product like the bleach I told you about and the alcohol, that glass etch got under that L. You guys probably gonna see that. Okay, so I've already brushed it down. All of my etching is going in the same direction. So I'm gonna let that set. Okay, get the rest of my etching that's on my brush and just kind of ease it on in without putting the crystals in. Don't want to put the crystals in the bottle, just like that. And when you finish, your brushes are reusable. Put your top back on your etch so it doesn't dry out. Actually, look, that bottle is an open bottle for my class in March. We were using 2 bottles in class, Miss Millie. And that bottle was actually in my storage shed where it's not heat controlled. And I thought for sure that it probably dried out, but it didn't. So the life of it is pretty good as long as you keep that top on and keep it tight and avoid putting crystals back into it. You should be fine. And you see a little of it goes a long way. But if you want to preserve the life of your sponge brushes, after you actually, part of your cleanup, because this is the cleanup part. Part of your cleanup is after you get your etching on, you want to get all of your materials that you're not using, that you're done with, go ahead and toss it in the trash. You know, I'm going to clean as I go. At least I tried to anyway. So I got all of my transfer tape. Got my paper towels that I use. And then I'm going to clean up while that's sitting. Okay. And I got, where did I get these brushes from? I think I got these brushes. Walmart has a big bag of these brushes for like $4 or $5. I forgot. I think I got that from one of the craft stores. I think I got that from Michael's. So these are all the supplies that I've had. I had my measuring tape to measure my design. I had my brushes. I had the Armor Etch. Of course, you know, I had my cleaning solution, whether it was the Dawn or the alcohol or the Clorox Wipe. I had my paper towels to help clean that off. Let's see what else I had. Then I had my vinyl and my transfer tape, scissors, and Exacto Knife. That Exacto Knife is so handy, but it's very sharp. So you guys be very, very careful with it. So I washed my brush off. And as a precautionary measure, you see it's already drying. Can you guys see? See, you can already see the etching. And I don't have a lot on here, which is good. So I'm just take the brush and kind of brush through. It's actually dry now, so I can go ahead and wash it off. So here is the trick. When I take it to the sink, I'm going to wash all of the excess Armor Etch off. And I want to do that before I remove the stencil, because if you leave the Armor Etch on to your stencil and try to peel it off, it can run and you will ruin your design. So what I'm about to do now is go to the sink and wash the Armor Etch off of my stencil and run a little Dawn across it to try to get the excess off, which is not a whole lot of excess on it. And then after that, I remove my stencil last. So we're going to go ahead and go to the sink and I'm going to wash it off and bring it back for you guys to look at. So I got my Blue Dawn and I just throw some soap on it like that. And then I'm going to go wash, 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 wash. You can use cool water to clean this. Okay, now here's the funny part right here. Once you get the water on it, you're like, Tyva, I don't see my etching. Did I do it right? Okay. And I just, you know, wipe it off a little bit so it's not dripping all over the place. They sell a big bag of brushes like that at Dollar Tree. Yep, Dollar Tree, Walmart especially. if you can avoid it, don't get your brushes out of the craft store, because you're not going to get as much as you will get from Dollar Tree or from Walmart. Okay? Maybe that was my problem, not going see Shalonda, this, I mean, I've done it so much and I try to learn from my mistakes. So, I mean, that's why I said I want to share my techniques with you guys. Now, if you look at it up close, it looks like, Tab, it doesn't look any different. But I'm going to pull the stencil from the O's. Look at that, y'all. See? So using this technique, I was able to maximize the look of the glass etching. You want it to be as iced. They call it iced. You want it to be as iced as possible. So I'm just removing the holes out. And you see that? That is a clean etch, y'all. So now I'm just going to remove my stencil. And this 631 actually did pretty good. To say I don't care for it too much. I always buy 651 because it just sticks so much better. But this was a free vinyl that I gotten from one of the vinyl companies that I actually affiliate with. Okay, so just remove your stencil, snatch that bad boy off. And if you have multiple projects to stencil, you would do the same thing. You would start with one, set it to the side. If it stays on too long, it's not going to hurt it. It's actually going to look better, actually. So, just like now, we got my glass sitting. And to see how that bottom of the L turned out. Because I know it went up under the stencil. I'm like, ugh. But I just want to give you guys some helpful tips. Okay. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, yeah, you can see that really well. Isn't that cool? Yes, hunty, yes. So that is the glass etch. Let me see if I can put this blue in here. That is the glass etch. You guys, it's not as intimidating. As long as you practice and you develop your own techniques, and, you know, you could probably take some of the techniques that I share with you guys, you know, and it's really dark. And usually it takes a little bit longer. I didn't set a timer to see how long it is because I was playing around with it. And I've done it so much that I can kind of eyeball the etch and see when it's ready for it to come off. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to repeat the same process with my glass. So I'm going to go throw some Dawn on it quick. Blue Dawn, you guys. Blue Dawn is a crafter's dream. So I threw some Blue Dawn on it like that. And I'm going to wash the excess off. And when I'm washing the excess off, I'm not actually running it across the glass itself. I'm trying to stay within the stencil. Okay, oh, I'm kind of scared about this one because I messed up and I didn't put the stencil all the way down on the L right here. Or right here, you might see that. I hope that it didn't bleed through. But we're about to see. Get my paper towel and just kind of dry it off like this. And now it's time to snatch this bad boy off. It's not as prevalent as the bigger one, but I think you guys can see it. That's my only hang up about glass etching. It's like we're so used to using vinyl that we got to see the design. If we don't see it, did it bleed? I can't really tell. Yeah, it bled a little bit with the L. But that's good. And I say, you know, a lot of people pick on me when I post my work. Like, oh, Tyra, it's so beautiful. I'm like, honey, you don't know how many times I messed up behind the scenes in order to get this product. So even with doing live demonstrations, that sometimes understand that there are plenty of things that can go wrong. There are plenty of things that can go wrong when you're doing a live demonstration. It's not like doing a video, and you can edit out and cut out stuff. Okay, so now I'm just going to give it a good clean so you guys can see it. Just wiping off any wet with my paper towel. Okay, you guys. Besides it bleeding a little bit with the L, it wasn't all that bad. Because I'm such a perfectionist, I wouldn't sell it. I would just keep it. I'll eat this. Definitely. See if you guys can see. Look right up under that L, like right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, or I'm just making a big deal. But the etching went a little under it, like that. See if you guys can see it. There we go. It went a little under the L. You guys like, oh, Taya, but I don't see nothing. So that is the glass etching, you guys. The more that you do it, the easier it will get. It can actually be one of those messy crafts because you're dealing with the etching and you washing and stuff, but you know, just clean up as you go. And that's pretty much it. It was another source that I saw online where someone was actually using the Rust-Oleum tub and tile in order to do the etching, and they said it was a lot darker. So, excuse me, if I make it to Home Depot or I can order it online, then I'll just do another demonstration with it so we can have comparison side by side. So that is the glass etching, you guys. You guys can actually see it really, really well. So with this technique, just going from left to right and then up and down and left to right, working it through and moving your crystals out the way on a napkin. I mean, those simple techniques, using an Exacto knife when you're using curved surfaces, all of those techniques are very, very important when you're doing your glass etching. I purchased some gold rub. No problem, Evelyn. You guys, let me see. These are all the supplies and tools that I used. I hope that these tips and techniques have actually helped you guys, and I don't want you guys to be intimidated by it. I mean, it's really easy to do. Maybe once I get the Rust-Oleum, I'll save these two right here. This on the side and that right there for the next demonstration. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I have not ever tried colored etching, Shalonda. And I've looked all over, and I was trying to see if I can like add the coloring to this. I actually tried that before. I actually added acrylic paint to my armor etch, and it washed right off. So for etching, it comes in multiple colors. Wow. I'm going to have to look it up. Thank you for that resource, Jane or Jan. I'm going to have to look it up because I'm very interested in that, because I tried to, try to rig up the armor etch. Hunty. Armor etch was like, Hunty, come back here. That's not right. Oh, Jan, I have plenty Scal videos to upload. Now, I actually was going to use Scal for this particular tutorial. So the name of this font is Michael. It's a beautiful font, you guys. So what I'm going to do when I get off live is I'm actually going to show you on on-screen demonstration how I created this design. But not only how I create the design, give you some tips on how to do your stenciling. Oh, you know what, Evelyn? I did see someone in the crafting room add the alcohol ink, but then they said with the alcohol ink it didn't come. It gave it a faint tint. But this armor etch can be very, very unpredictable and unforgiving. So that's it, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and slide to my laptop so I can give you guys an on-screen tutorial to go along with this live, to give you guys some more tips on how to create your stencil. I'm also going to give you guys the link to this font. This font is so beautiful. This etching actually came out a lot better than I thought it was going to turn out. I'm very pleased with it. Very, very pleased. Okay, so I love you guys, and I'll catch you guys in the online tutorial.